Hi, my name is Peyton Green and I am in Dr. Clancy Hayes' Authentic Christianity course for the fall 2017 school year. We were assigned a project in which we had to choose one of two words, worship or solitude. And me personally, I chose solitude to do. And in this assignment, what I had to do is do 12 hours of solitude in 6 2-hour segments. Now, that may seem like a lot, and trust me, it kind of was, but it did change the way that I acted throughout the year, and I just want to show you how it impacted my life. Now, I've done something similar to solitude, and I didn't realize it until I got into it. But what I do, I call it my Jesus time, and you might find that funny, but in my Jesus time, what I do is I get alone by myself, and I will get a Bible, I'll put on some soft music, and I will pray, I will read my devotionals, I will read the Bible, and I will just sit and leave a few minutes just for God to speak, because I know that in our lives, if we don't let God speak to us, then how can it be a relationship? And this is definitely what Christianity is a relationship. And so I leave time for Him to speak, and after all of that is over, that's it, and I just go away from that time. The difference between this solitude that I had to do for this project and my Jesus time is that my Jesus time only lasts 15 to 30 minutes, while this solitude had to be a minimum of 2 hours. So it was a very big wake-up call when I got into it the first day, and 30 minutes into it, I felt like I had nothing else to do, and so I was just praying. I just kept on praying. I just kept on giving and giving and giving and praying about anything I could think of. I read on a few more chapters than what my devotionals is usually, and it changed the way I act. Eventually, I just laid down during the first day of it, and I sat there, and God spoke to me, and He said that I focus too much on the things I have to do, not so much on what I need. And that spoke volumes to me, because recently I've gotten myself involved in a lot of things that get me stressed out when I think about all of the things that I have to do, like a list, like a check-off to-do list. And I don't save room for the one that I need. And that changes and affects my life insanely. So that right off the bat, the first date was just like, oh, wow, okay, God, I'll fix that. And once I accepted that I needed to change that, my rest of the day was different completely. I went to work after I had that time, and I recognized that I was more joyous than I usually was. I was able to talk to customers and be happy, like genuinely happy. Whenever sadness or anger was around me, I was able to still smile for real, not just fake. And so, as I went on through the days doing more solitude, I kept looking for that joy. But the second day, what I found was that I found peace. And that's another big thing going towards all the stress that I'm feeling. The stress that I'm feeling, I was just able to lay down and go. And it was a very relieving feeling, and it felt amazing to me, because I hadn't felt that in so long. Just the peace of God, in which nothing is wrong, and I don't have to do anything, but it's all just calm and peaceful. And that's what changed me that day. As I went on through the weeks, I just kept tapping into His joy and His peace and getting deeper into Him. Now, there was some times that I got distracted during my time. Like, if I had, a lot of the times I was running out of time during the days that I had to do it, and I would eat lunch while I was doing my solitude, and so sometimes I would focus on eating more than I would on focus on God for a few minutes, or sometimes I would try to focus on one certain scripture more than I would focus on trying to get more in tune with God. And I don't think the scripture is necessarily an issue, but when I'm trying to focus on God, I need to make that time for God. And I realized that about the second or third day, and it was it was a life-changing experience, and now even though this project is over and I'm looking back on this, I can see how much it's affected my day-to-day life and the way that I treat others and the way that I treat myself and act upon myself. And I want that change to stay. I don't want it to just be this one-time thing for these 6 days that I had the solitude. I don't want it to just last for those 6 days. I want it to keep on going in every day of my life. And so I think that's something that I learned hugely about this project, is that if I want this relationship with God, and if I want something this strong in which I feel His presence and His joy and His peace with me all the time, then I have to continually go into His presence for longer amounts of time than I might want to. Especially 2 hours. I mean, I used to have a part-time job where I would work for 2 hours, and now I'm working the same amount that I am praying, and that kind of seems like a lot, especially when you think about it to some people. But in reality, if you think about one person that's like your best friend or your spouse or something like that, how much time do you spend with them on a daily basis? How much time do you spend with them, even if it may be broken into separate pieces, like you might be with them for 30 minutes or 5 minutes, and then there's a time where you're not with them? If you just count up all of the minutes and the hours that you spend with them, how much time does that add up to be? Probably way more than 2 hours. And if we want a relationship where Jesus is like our best friend, our brother, if we want to be close to Him, you have to take time out of your day to get into a relationship with God, and that takes time, especially to just get into His presence and let Him talk to you. I think that's another thing that I learned from this, is no matter how much I tried to pray or occupy my time with reading my Bible or doing my devotions or actually praying for prayer requests of people around me or people that I knew or me, I had to take some time to just shut up and let it be quiet and listen to Him. Because in a relationship, both people do talking. It's not just one person always talking and talking and talking and talking. Both people talk in the situation. And so that's something that I learned from this hugely, is you can't just sit in a room for 2 hours and talk, because eventually you're going to shut up and the other person's going to step in and speak. And if that's the only sliver of time that you give them, they're going to make it heard. And I know that because the first day when I kept trying to fill my time with prayer requests and prayer requests and prayer requests, when I shut up for a second and God threw that little word in, I just automatically shut up and was like, oh, like I need to focus on what He has to say. And so I just shut up and listened to what He had to say, and it impacted that day and the rest of the times that I did solitude for that whole entire, like all the days that I did that. And so I would just like to thank Dr. Hayes for this opportunity, because I didn't think a project could change and impact my life as much as this. This is one of the first classes that I've taken outside of a regular high school setting, because I'm still in high school, and so this is like the first class that I've taken that's like strictly about the Bible and how to get into a Christian lifestyle even more. And I went into this project thinking that I was just going to be another project, just another thing that I had to do and turn in, but I can see how it's affected my day-to-day life, and I can see how much it's changed me. And I just want to thank you for that opportunity, because if I didn't have this opportunity, I wouldn't be the person I am right now, trying to get even more solitude into my day. And so I want to thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for what it's done for me, but I want to thank God for meeting me in my solitude. So, thank you.